One Saturday, I was headed to a state park to hike and enjoy the beautiful views God has given us here in Arkansas. I returned home late and heard my work phone beeping. The message was that St. Vincent was in disaster mode due to Hurricane Gustav. The hospital needed extra personnel to help in the emergency department. As a diabetes educator, I thought, well, what could I do to help? But God quickly reminded me, you were a nurse before you were an educator. Go. I was scared out of my mind, so I said a prayer on the way to the hospital. Lord, please guide my hands today and be with those who are being displaced. When I arrived in our brand new emergency department, I was instructed to do assessments on the evacuees. It didn't take long to get into a routine. Everyone worked together to admit patients as quickly as possible. Admissions staff, nurses, doctors, pharmacists, central supply staff, medical social workers, housekeeping staff, our chief nurse, and our chief executive officer were all there. But the staff members who touched my heart most were the chaplains. The chaplains went to the frightened, displaced patients and prayed with them, which helped calm them. One lady told me with tears in her eyes that a chaplain had already spoken with her and had called her husband. When the Louisiana hospital in which she was a patient was evacuated, she couldn't reach her husband and she didn't have a cell phone. She said that when the chaplain reached him, her husband broke down and cried because he hadn't known where she was and was so relieved to know that she was in good hands. Later in the week, I met this patient's husband, and he spoke highly of the chaplain for calling and reassuring him. Later in the evening, as the last planes from Louisiana landed, I was assigned a patient in her late 80s who was scared and confused. She was fighting us, convinced that we had kidnapped her. A chaplain and pharmacy technician came in. With very calm voices and mannerisms, they calmed the lady until I could do what I needed to do to help her. I don't think any of us could have done what we needed to do if the chaplains hadn't been there to keep patients calm and keep us calm as well. I will never forget the teamwork and excellence displayed at St. Vincent the weekend we took in more than 60 evacuees from Hurricane Gustav. We all pulled together for the good of those in need, and I was honored that God had told me, go. What I experienced that weekend exemplified St. Vincent's values of reverence, integrity, compassion, and excellence. I think the Sisters of Charity of Nazareth would be proud. Being part of what we accomplished that weekend was truly a blessing in the midst of disaster.